Knicks Cave. I'm Jan, a Knicks fan, your host, and let's get right into it. But before we do, I want y'all to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment. You want to know when the next video going to drop? Hit the notification bell. All right, y'all. Let's just get into it real quick. We're talking about Tom Thibodeau. You heard me, Tom Thibodeau, and I don't think he can win a championship. I'm not going to say he's not a good coach because we're going to get into his career as you see. But honestly, I'm just giving you my opinion. I don't think we can win a championship with him. I don't think we would get out of the second round. I think the second round is the highest we can go, the furthest we can go with this coach. And that's because we have the talent. I'm just going to be real. That's because we have the talent. If you look at this man's career, anytime he made the playoff, it's because he had the talent. We're going to get into his career right now. We're going to talk about the teams he coached for, when he coached, how he do, his record, everything, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. Like, we know he started out as an assistant with Minnesota in 1989. He served as an assistant with San Antonio Spurs. So, he got the man have good lineages when it comes to coaching. He was assistant for the 76ers, New York Knicks, Houston Rockets. Then he finally went over to the Boston Celtics in 2007, where he helped them win the championship. Had a different title from assistant, but associate head coach. And like I said, he helped them win a championship in 2008. Got his first head coaching job with the Chicago Bulls in 2010. And his first season, he led the team to a 62-20 record and was named the head coach of the year. After that, he was a coach with Minnesota, where he took the head coaching job, as well as the president of basketball operation for the Wolves in 2016. He had mixed results with the team, but he was known for his defensive coaching style. After a while, the Timberwolves fired him. Then he changed the New York Knicks whole trajectory. Let's be real. Everything that the New York Knicks was going through, he changed. The playoff drought, he changed everything. He came into this team in 2020, and he led the Knicks to their first playoff in 2021, earning him another Coach of the Year award. Thibs is known for his defensive mind and approach, and his consistently helping teams rank in the top defensive metrics. But I have my doubts. I'm just gonna be real. Like, let me see. What can I say with Thibs? He don't know how to develop young talent. Now, you look at I know we still talking about his career, because you have to talk about the players that he inherited or he went to coach. And if you look at the players, he always had that guy, you know what I'm saying? He always had that guy that can get it done. Jimmy Butler was how I feel about Jimmy Butler as a player. I don't think Jimmy Butler is a superstar. I think Jimmy Butler is an above average starter. So I understand what Miami is going through. A Pat Riley decision should be easy. I'm not paying him that. But what I'm trying to say, he always had a player that was willing to give their all for a team. Like Derrick Rose was a special player. That team that Derrick Rose played on, Chicago Bulls, in my mind, that was a championship team. I know, the other teams they had some good teams out there, you know what I'm saying? But you seen what he did with Derrick Rose. He ran the man into the ground. A lot of people will disagree, but I don't care what anybody say. And the narrative was out there that he played that dude damn near the whole game, every game. A young career that who knows if Derrick Rose didn't miss them years. And I don't care. I'm still blaming it on the minutes he played, because this was going to happen. This is what I'm saying why we won't win a championship. By the time we get to a championship, our players won't be healthy. We starting to see that right now. It's starting to take its toll. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna wait off and get up to the player minutes before I break that down. What else I wanted to talk about real quick? You see the wins with the Bulls. He had 255 wins, 139 losses, and the regular season. He went 23-28 in the postseason with the Bulls. The Timberwolves, his record wasn't a stellar record. He won 97 games, 107 losses, while only going 1-4 with a playoff record. I know his tenure there wasn't long, and maybe the players betrayed him, and that's what I'm talking about. Because he has so much weight and influence with this team, I don't think any player could come up unless it's Brunson or Cat can come and start complaining, but that's a family over there. And I know people want to talk about, well, the players is not complaining. Let's be real. A player is going to play regardless. For instance, look at Aaron Rodgers. We all know he's past his prime. And let's not talk about the game he had today. We know he's past his prime, but he still think he's that guy. He can be a good backup. Aaron Rodgers right now is a backup, a very good backup. That's what he is, you know what I'm saying? That's what he is. And that's what Thibs is. He's a good backup, assistant coach. You know what I'm saying? He's a good assistant coach. With the Knicks, so far right now, not counting this season, he won 175 games, lost 143, 14-15 in the playoffs, and as a combined record of postseason wins, he's 38-47. Now, when we talk about the playoffs, this is where, This is the part where I'm concerned, because if you look at his playoff record, I mean, he makes the playoffs. I'm not saying he's not going to get us to the playoffs, but when we get to the playoffs, is that it? Like round one, we got knocked out the first year. The second year, we was like, okay, we're going to make it to this round two. We went to round two. Players was hurt, injured. Randall was hurt in that first year. But he was like, oh, Randall wasn't hurt, this and that. Actually, Randall was hurt both years we made the playoffs. That second last year was no. And I still blame that on Tom Thibodeau. I'm like, I don't think Randall would have got hurt if he wasn't on the floor in that game against Miami when we was up over 20 points. I mean, it was only like less than 5 minutes in the game. And this is what I'm talking about with the young guys or the bench player getting minutes. I'm going to get to that in a minute. We got 2 minutes and some change before I get to that. So when players get hurt, players are going to get hurt. That's inedible. They're going to get hurt. But sometimes it happens because of wear and tear. And sometimes you can avoid your player getting hurt by being a smart coach. If you up 20-something points and it's less than 5 minutes in the game, you don't play your starters. You don't. I don't care. If that was Popovich, Kawhi Leonard wouldn't have been in that game. Tim Duncan wouldn't have been in that game. David Robinson wouldn't have been in that game. If that was, let's be real, Doc Rivers, James Harden wouldn't have been in that game. Any coach that you can think of, if they're up 20-something points and it's less than 5 minutes in the game, their starters is not in the game. And we've seen it when teams beat us. When a team, let's be real, you know what I'm saying? When teams got a good lead on us, they're sitting in their rookies, second-year players, and their backups. And even we make a move, we'll cut it to 5 or cut it to 6, their starters are still resting, getting prepared for the next game. We would have a 25-point lead, and he would play these guys down. I know I'm basically went over to the player minutes, but we're going to just keep it going. All right, we're just going to keep it going. All right, so we see the record with the New York Knicks, which I should have brought up. I should have brought this up already. But as we look at it, first round, missed the playoffs. lost in the conference semifinal, and that's how it went in Minnesota before they fired him. Make the playoffs, miss the playoffs, make the playoffs. Players was a little upset with Thibs. You know what I'm saying? We look at, like I said, his career wins, how many playoffs, losses, and wins he got with Chicago, Minnesota, the New York Knicks. Only time he's been really successful as a coach. I'm not saying that his seasons wasn't successful. If you look at it, yeah, you know what I'm saying, he's going to go down. I'm not going to say as a winningest coach. He's going to be somewhere around there. He's going to have a decent record, win-loss category get talked about at the end of his career. But as a head coach, I don't think right now, because he can change, I don't think he's going to win the championship until he evolve. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. He have to evolve. Now that we on the player minutes, we look at the stats from the Chicago game, and I know they was coming off a back-to-back with that Thunder game, and I got some. I'm going to show you their minutes as well. But the Knicks shot 8 for 30. The Knicks, was, if I'm not mistaken, is, I didn't check the stats, had the second best record for shooting threes, percentage-wise, making whatever. And in the last couple of games, let's say 4 or 5 games, you have noticed that they've been missing their threes. They've been missing their free throw lines. And now let's be real. As a basketball player, when you start missing your jump shots, we all know that's because you're tired. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have an off night, but come on, when you are a professional or if you are a good basketball player and you make jump shots on a regular, when you start missing them shots that you're supposed to make, even on layups, Josh Hart, you have to look at how he's playing in the last couple of games, missing layups that he would make, especially at the end of the game. At the end of that Thunder game, the guys basically admitted, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, they all said they was exhausted. And you seen that in the Chicago game. And what made me mad about the Chicago game is because when we went into the half with a 7-point lead. Then we advanced that lead in the third quarter. We pushed it up to 11 points. Then Chicago started making a move because that's when the fatigue started kicking in with the New York Knicks players. Right there as a coach, you were supposed to make the sub. You don't sub. Now, listen, I'm going to say this out. I'm going to say this, and I hope the right people are watching and listening. All right? Because a lot of people are talking about, you played the bench, and are y'all satisfied? You don't sub your subs in when your team is down 11 points. If you haven't been given them minutes, how the hell you expect them to catch? Like, these guys come in and they're basically playing preseason minutes. I don't care what nobody said. Because, all right, people wanted to bring up the fact that, talk about the bench is getting minutes. Are they really? Because what Thibodeau does, he alternate Towns and Brunson. Then neither one of them never off the court at the same time for a very long time. So if Towns is on the court, he's dominating. He is dominating the shots. The bench is not taking the many shots if are Towns or Brunson. It's either Brunson or Towns is on the court with the backups. And if you watch how other coaches are coaching, you might see a starter with their backups, but they fade out, and you will see a teams are playing 10 plays against 11. Some teams are playing 12 plays against the Knicks. And the strategy is that they're going to wear out. Just give it your all. Like, we talking about players is beasting the Knicks? No, they're up in the tempo, forcing the New York Knicks to up their tempo because they know at the end of the game, the Knicks are not going to have the energy to compete. Well, the starters not, and they know Thibs is not going to his bench. This is why we are not going to win a championship, because he don't know how to mix that up. He don't know how to get the players in at the right time and at the right moment. He don't have the feel for that because he is, and I'm going to say it again, a great, fantastic assistant coach. He's an assistant coach. And that's all he's going to be. I don't care what anybody say. Let's check out these minutes real quick before we go to his pros and cons. In that Thunder game, the starters, 40 minutes and better. Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges lead the league in minutes played. Josh Hart is second. So y'all could keep telling me about how he's utilizing the bench, and this is forced. All right, let me give you another example. You know how when you're watching the game and your team, the opposing team, it seems like every time they go down the court, they're getting fouled, they're going to the free throw line, and you're like, damn, where are ours? But then at the end of the game, you look at it like, oh, they went to the free throw line 34 times. We went to the free throw lines, let's say 30 or 28 times. But that's all because at the end of the game, with 8 minutes left or maybe 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, when the team is down double digits deficits where they have no chance of coming back, is when the referees start calling fouls on the opposing team, whether the home team or whatever, the favorite team, whatever, whoever the NBA have that they want to win for that night. And then when you look at the stats, it evens out. But in reality, it does not even out if you're going to backload the calls. You know what I'm saying? And when there's no way I can catch you, when I'm already down 25 points. And the clock is ticking. And that's how Thibs do it. And that's what he do with his minutes, you know what I'm saying, with his players. He'll play the players and then he'll interject them sparingly, you know what I'm saying, when it's not really necessary. Let's be real, because the game, like, okay, even in that Chicago, even in the Thunder game, we was done. We was not coming back, especially in that Chicago game. We was not coming back. Matter of fact, when we made a run in the Chicago game, we cut the points down to 6. We cut that deficit down to 6. When you see we got to 6, okay. Now, if we ain't looked at flat already, he brung the starters back in, and he left Towns was in there. Towns helped us get it. But when he brung back Anunoby and Josh Hart and Bridges and Brunson, them guys is done. They are tired. The lead this balloon. And with the double deficits again. You look at Josh Hart late on his step, they was even running out. Now, we talk about the 3 points they make because they're tired. They don't want to drive to the rim. Let's say last week, Anunoby was going to the hole, dunking almost when he got the ball. In these last 2 games, in the last 3 games, they are reserving their energy. Now, they might come out and get a win tonight, but they had significant rest. They had 2 days rest. You know what I'm saying? If Thibs does not evolve or change his style when it comes to the minutes of the players, by the time we get to the playoffs, we're going to be looking at the same thing that we looked at last year. Our most significant players are going to be banged up. They're going to be too tired. And when we put in the rookies, which y'all seem to, I don't understand. Like, I'm watching, when you look around, and they're players that the Knicks drafted at the level that the rookies are playing at for other teams. I don't understand and why our rookies can't be doing. Well, I know why, because they're not getting the opportunities. And there's a lot of people who talk about, just down on our rookies, but when they get the opportunity and when they shine, it's always a wishy-washy. It's always flip-flopping. You know, so they would say how our rookies are not ready. If they wasn't ready, they wouldn't be drafted. They wouldn't be drafted. Now, let's end this with the pros and cons of Tom Thibodeau. Let's just end it with the pros and cons. Now, the pros, defensive expertise. Thibs is known for his defensive-minded approach, and his teams have consistently ranked among the top defensive metrics in the metrics. Winning record, he has a solid overall coaching record, as I pointed out, including Coach of the Year multiple times with the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks. Player development, some would say he has a knack for developing players, as seen with Derrick Rose and Karl Anthony Towns in New York. But I beg to differ. These guys have natural talent. Let me see, like, when I think of player development, I always think of D'Antoni and how he screwed us with Nate Robinson. Came out and dropped 41 points. I forgot how many points, but after sitting out 40-something games not being played, resilience. His teams have shown resilience often, making the playoffs even in challenging certain situations. And this is true. Like I said, this is his pros. He will get us to the playoffs. He will get us, but we're not getting out the second round. He has not gotten out of the second round as a head coach. Now, let's get to his cons. Rigidity. He's been criticized for how rigid coaching style and reluctance to adapt his strategies. Like I said, he don't know how to adapt. As long as he don't know how to adapt, the Knicks are going to be screwed. Player management. He has a reputation of overworking his starters and not giving enough player time to the bench players, which kind of, like we talk about how much chemistry this team had, but that got to cause resentment. It got to. You know what I'm saying? It got to. The backup on the rookies again. I don't care if nobody said, y'all keep talking about Tyler Korlek is not ready. The man dropped 36 points one night, won the MVP in the D-League, G-League. We know his accolades in college, 4 years in college. He can shoot the three. He can lead a team. But he's on the bench. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to be straight. And I'm telling you, I'd rather have him on the floor. I was about to say Alfred Payton. I don't know why. I always get them mixed up than Champagne. I'm going to be real. I'd rather have him on the floor than Cam Champagne. I'd rather Champagne be the third guard off the bench. Because we want somebody to run the floor and set the offense up. And as good as Jalen Brunson is, he's not a point guard that does that. He's going to go out there. He's going to get us some points. He's going to look fantastic. Setting up is not his specialty. It's not. I'm not saying he's not leading. He's not in the top 10 in assists this year, which I'm happy because y'all heard me complain about his assists. But he's not that guy that's going to really a Chris Paul or even a James Harden. James Harden know how to mix that flow up. Or Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? Or even Tyrese Halliburton. A point guard that knows how to get his team involved. But don't get me wrong, I like the way our starters and the way that flow. I love it. But I'm talking about our bench players. We need a true leader, a point guard out there. Because when they're out there, they're scrambling. You have to look at what they're doing. They're scrambling. Now, let's talk about his offensive limitation. His teams often struggle on offensive, relying heavily on isolation plays and not enough ball movement. And y'all going to say the ball is moving, but it's more of an ISO ball motion, if y'all can understand what I'm talking about. The ball only get moved after, the play can't be made by Towns or Jalen Brunson, but it's more of an ISO feel. These are his cons and playoff struggles, as I've been mentioning. Despite regular season success, Thibodeau has faced criticism for not advancing deep in the playoffs. And that's because the players don't have it by the time we get to the playoffs. And not only that, usually coaches come in with a whole different scheme when they come into the playoffs. He runs the same thing that he's been running through the whole damn season. Coaches already know what you want to run. They know what the scheme, how, basketball, set plays. The plays are set, they know the plays, but come on. You gotta be creative, and he's not. I don't care what anybody says. Thibs is not a creative coach. It's all black and white with him. All black and white. Now, look at these minutes. 40 minutes, 40. And that Chicago game, this is why some people say that he gave the bench minutes. This is an illusion. Achua played 26 minutes. Sham at 16, Payne 13. Them are illusion minutes because they got most of them, especially Payne, they got most of the minutes in the third quarter when we was down 11 points already. And not only did they cut the deficit to 6, but think about when we started the third quarter and we was up 11 points. When you seen that, if you was gonna, he figured, I'll spell the starters right now, but why not spell them when the lead went from 11 to 5? Once you seen that, we went from 11-point lead to a 5-point lead. Bring in the bench now. Give the guys that rest. So even if there's a deficit, because it's going to take time for that to flip over from our 5-point lead to their 11-point lead. You could bring the starters back in and they have some type of energy so that they can get a push. What happened was the starters came back out there, even after sitting on the bench that long, they had nothing left. And I don't understand why, some analysts cannot see that. And the thing about it, a lot of people see it, but some people choose not to. We're not going to win a championship with this coach. I'm being real. And y'all going to have to face the fact. Yeah, we will make the playoffs. We will make the playoffs. We will. We might even get out the first round. We might even get out the first round. But the second round, we're going to be too banged up. We're going to be too exhausted. Too exhausted. Not me personally when I say we, but y'all know I'm talking about the team. They're going to be too tired to compete. So I don't care what anybody say. He's a great assistant coach. Until he learns to adapt and start playing that's another, we got to get our rookies ready for competition. You can't talk about next man up. Yeah, that's if they're veterans and been playing for 15, I ain't even 5 years, then you can say next man up. Not when this is their first year in the league, second year in the league. And they're already nervous about you as a coach and them getting pulled. But I'm being real with you. I said it in many videos that we have a championship team, and we do. I'm not going back on my word, but do we have a championship coach? Hit me in the comments and let me know. Do we have a championship coach? And I don't mean a coach that won a championship as an assistant coach, but can our coach bring it home for the New York Knicks fans? We deserve that. We deserve that. Sorry about that. We deserve that. We deserve that. And with that being said, I want everybody to stay safe, stay healthy, God bless, and peace.